All of our Ames sports are sponsored by Bank of Easton, Easton Lions Club, Law Firm of Sutton & Sutton. ECAT would like to thank all sponsors for their support in producing this sports season.
The Hawks have flown into Northeastern, and the Tigers are looking to clip their wings. Welcome to Frothingham Park for this Hockomock League clash between the Milford Scarlet Hawks and your Oliver Ames Tigers. Game's about to start. Hello, everyone. My name is Adam Rivero, providing you play-by-play today. Let's get right to it with Andrew Whiteside pitching today on the hill for Oliver Ames, and the first pitch is outside for a ball. The count is 1-0. Again, Milford coming into town today, 6-6 on the year. Also outside for a ball, 2-0. The only game that OA will be playing against Milford this year in a different division in the Hockomock League, and because of that, they only play once a year, and that's going to be a swing and foul on the third base side. Again, Whiteside back on the hill today for Oliver Ames, and looking for a win. Up first for Milford to this at-bat, the center fielder, number 16, Koch. And high and just a touch outside. That's going to be 3-1. And deals. Also outside, ball 4, and that'll be a walk for Milford. That's going to be 1 on, no outs here at the beginning of the game for Oliver Ames. Next to bat is the second baseman, Consigli. I know we might have some folks from Milford who are watching today. I apologize. I only have the last names for your players today as the throw, pickoff attempt, and the runner gets back and is safe. Only have last names today for those who are playing for Milford, so my apologies to parents and grandparents who are watching today, but glad to be able to provide you this as he squares up to bunt and takes a strike, and the count is 0-1. Milford again 6-6 on the year, 500 so far, and lost to Franklin last Wednesday. OA actually beat Franklin the first game of the year. Played Natick on Friday. I do not have the results of the Natick game, but again, everything that I've seen so far is that they're 500 on the year. Last year, Milford beat OA 11-2 at Milford. Squares up to bunt once again. That'll be in for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. He gets back into the box and is prepared for the pitch. Koch is on first base, possibly looking to run. Whiteside throws, and there's the bunt, and it's going to be picked up by Whiteside, and the throw is going to be to first, and that'll be an out as the runner moves up to second. And so Consigli is able to move the runner to second, and we will have 1 on second base with 1 out. The first baseman, number 5, Carter, is up to bat for Milford. The Hawks' first baseman steps in. Whiteside looks back to second, throws. That's going to be high for ball 1. Oliver Ames so far this year is 2-12 on the year. There's going to be a meeting there at the Hill. Coach Abar comes out to talk to Andrew. Again, Oliver Ames is 2-12 on the year. The last broadcast on Wednesday of last week, we saw OA lose to Foxborough 10-1. Then they went over to Mansfield on Friday and lost a heartbreaker there against Mansfield at the Sports Complex 9-8. And then Saturday traveled down to New Bedford and lost 5-0. It actually lost the season series to them 2-0 after losing to them during April break here at Frothingham a couple of weeks ago. All right, with the meeting on the hill over, Andrews ready to deliver again. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out, runner on second. And that's going to be inside for a ball. 2-1. Again, Koch on second base, possibly looking to run here. Andrew looking back and checking on where he is before he throws. And the pitch. And a swing, and that's going to be a pop, and that's going very deep. And it's going to be caught by Harrison Fitzpatrick for the out. That was very long and very deep, but very out for out number 2. The catcher, number 20, Lee, will be standing in next for Milford. Rogers in left field went back to catch, and Fitzpatrick called him off. Lost a hat in the meantime, but didn't lose the ball as it was in the air deep towards the scoreboard. And again, a very long out for out number 2. Runner still on second, and that's going to be in there for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs. Here in the top of the first, Frothingham, the score is 0-0. We've seen earlier this year that these first innings can sometimes be really difficult for Oliver Ames and getting behind quickly, and that's going to be stopped by the second baseman. It's going to be stabbed, kept in front of him enough to keep the runner from going home, and Jake Willard dives, is not able to collect and throw to first. That was a slow roller, slow enough that I don't think he would have actually made the play at first, but he stopped it to make sure that the runner did not make it to home. So in that case, it is a win for Oliver Ames because that keeps runners on the corners with 2 outs, with the left fielder Butler standing in. Whiteside looking to close out this bottom half of the first inning here. Again, the top half of the first inning here at home the last few games has been very unkind to Oliver Ames, and certainly Coach Abar and the boys are looking to be able to get out of this first inning without any type of damage. And that's going to be a very high pop fly in the infield, actually in foul territory, and it's going to be caught for out number 3 by Matt Lawson. Five batters up, 3 outs, and the score is 0-0. Milford with OA coming up to bat in just a moment. Today's Oliver Ames athletic calendar is a busy one, and just to give you a little bit of an idea of what's going on through Oliver Ames athletics today, varsity boys lacrosse started at 3:45 at Mansfield, while the JV boys lacrosse will be at 5:30, also at the Mansfield High School Sports Complex. At 4 o'clock, there was a 4 o'clock start for the JV girls lacrosse. That is at home against Mansfield, and then varsity girls lacrosse will be at 5:30 against Mansfield. Varsity tennis takes place, boys and girls. Boys will be playing at Milford, while the girls will be playing against Milford. Girls at 4 o'clock, and boys started just a few minutes ago at 4:30. And then a 4:30 start as well for JV girls softball, and also varsity girls softball playing at Milford. And then finally, JV boys baseball today is taking place at the OA Sports Complex. That was also a 4:30 start. Froshmore boys baseball game today was canceled for Oliver Ames. And so as Oliver Ames prepares to take their first swings at the plate here at the bottom half of the first inning, again, just giving you a little bit of a rundown of OA's season so far, 2-12 on the year. Snapped an 8-game winning streak just a couple of weeks ago, but then has commenced another 4-game losing streak. And OA definitely looking for the win today and just looking to get a little wind beneath their sails. And speaking of wind, there is none today at Frothingham Park. The weather has been a little bit unusual. Beautiful sunny skies here in Easton for most of the morning into the early afternoon, but the clouds are starting to roll in. There is a little bit of a chance of precipitation. It is a very manageable 72 degrees out here, which is nice considering we've had some very cool, crisp spring baseball games. So having a little bit of warmth and humidity is certainly not a bad thing. But there's just a very little bit of a breeze coming out of the south right now. Nothing that should affect the hitters, but at the same time, just keeping an eye on the skies and seeing if there's going to be any chance of rain here today. We're certainly hoping not, because here in the broadcast booth, which happens to be a folding table right behind home plate, we are in the elements, and so we are rooting for it being a dry game and being able to get all 7 innings in here today. Well, Oliver Ames is going to take their first swings at bat here in just a moment. The first batter will be shortstop Jake Willard, who made that diving stop, really just saved a run there at the end, or at the bottom of the, let's try that again, at the top of the first inning, saving that run. Again, I know he wanted to field that ball cleanly, but just the fact that he was able to take a stab at it, stop it from going out into the outfield, no doubt saved a run. And OA has to feel good about hanging a 0 up for Milford in the top of the first and not starting from behind. So again, Jake Willard is going to be at bat, the shortstop for OA, as we start the bottom half of the first inning. Umpire checking on a couple of things here, and OA starting to chat it up there at their bench on the first base side. A small crowd here today at Frothingham Park, down there on the third base line, but it is growing. I've found that these afternoon ball games, as folks get off of work and finish responsibilities, they filter into the park, and the crowd will grow. And so that's going to be strike number 1 as we begin the bottom half of the first inning. So I am flying solo today. I am calling this game by myself. I do miss my wingman, Joe Taft, and so if you're there at the station, can't wait for you to be back, hopefully, with me here on Wednesday. The count is 1-1 to Willard. Carter is going to be the pitcher today for Milford. And Carter deals in the pitch. A swing, and that's going to be foul out near the pickleball and tennis courts. The count is 1-2 to Willard. Digs in. Looking for that leadoff hit here. And the throw to home. And he's going to take a swing. That's going to be a chopper that's going to go to the first baseman, who is going to throw it to the pitcher, who is covering first base for the first out. Gotta love the hustle there by Jake Willard. He ran. Let me try that again. He flew down the first base line. If there was any kind of bumble or stumble on Milford's side there, he would have certainly taken first. You'll have to like that hustle there. There's a few major leaguers that certainly could learn a thing or two from what he just did there on the first baseline. But nonetheless, that will be an out with left fielder Rogers at the plate. The lefty will take ball number 1. 1 out. No one on base. Milford 0, Tigers 0 here in the bottom of the first. And the pitch. That's going to be a swing, and that's going to go out over to Park Street. Always bracing yourself to hear whether it's going to hit a car or not, and I would say that's all clear. Oh, hit branches. All right. Got good word here that it was filtered through by the branches. As spring continues, there's more chance that those balls get knocked down. And strike number 2 as he swings through the pitch. The count is 0-2. 1 out to Rogers. Swing and a miss. The ball is going to drop. The catcher is going to pick it up and is going to throw it to first for out number 2. Again, good hustle by Rogers, recognizing the drop of strike number 3 by the catcher, recognizing there is a chance to run to first and possibly get on base, but nonetheless thrown out at first for out number 2. Anthony Baroncelli, the second baseman. Righty is stepping in. And the pitch by Carter is going to be in there for a strike. Carter deals. And that's going to be a grounder to the second baseman, who is going to field the hop cleanly and is going to throw to first for out number 3. 3 up, 3 down for Oliver Ames. We'll be back in just a moment here on ECAT. Okay. Oh.
Oh, I didn't see you there.
Sick of all the new shows and movies dominating pop culture? Well, have no fear, because Old Time Movie and Old Time TV are here, where we like to add our own flair.
There's a truck out front, and if we could just get the keys.
Man, are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? Those are flesh-eating zombies. They upended our car, okay? We're lucky to be alive, especially Joe. I had to pull him out of the trunk, for crying out loud.
It's been a long day.
Also, make sure to check out the Radiocast, our accompanying podcast where we talk about what we've watched.
There was a lot of moments of just Mac on the raft going down the river, just internal monologuing over and over and over.
We show the classics and nothing but the classics. Well, except for the weird ones. Check us out on all our channels as well as our YouTube.
A couple weeks ago, I would have had, like, at least I've done it a few times. I'm a little bit more.
Want to get involved in an exciting race around historic Northeaston? Apply to be on Expedition Easton, a local version of the amazing race produced by ECAT. This summer, 6 pairs, 12 contestants, will get the chance to compete for the grand prize. All ages are welcome, but each pair must have one member over 18 years old.
We're back at Frothingham, and it's the top of the second. It's Milford 0 and Oliver Ames 0, and the Hawks are back up to bat. And McGee, number 9, the shortstop, is in the box. Whiteside looking to hang another 0 up against Milford here in the second. And that's going to be there in the corner for a strike. Great placement there. Control, a little bit of an issue there for Andrew in the first inning, and looking to really tighten it in there here in the second. Andrew with the pitch, and that's going to go past the diving third baseman for a base hit as it's fielded by Rogers, goes past Lawson, and that's going to be a single, one aboard, no outs for the Hawks, with number 6, the pitcher, and the DH Carter coming up to bat. Don't see many of the pitchers hitting for themselves here in the Hockomock League. You certainly don't, as you can see them go higher up. And so, unless it's Otani, that is. And that's going to be a foul for strike 1. Otani playing for the Angels, well, actually playing for the Dodgers. Not play for the Angels anymore. But good to see a pitcher who is also hitting for himself there at the dish. And so, the 6th hitter in the lineup. Oh, and 1 is the count. No outs. Runner on first. And that will be ball number 1. McGee there on first. A little bit of movement there. Of course, these Hockomock League games often have a lot of running, a lot of base stealing. And he's going to steal second, and the Zamayo's going to throw, and he will be safe at second. Evan with the throw to second. I don't know that you could have thrown that any better, or it could have been picked up any better by Jake Willard. They're the shortstop at second, but just a hair late, and so that'll be a stolen base for McGee. The double play is now off the table with a runner on second, and the pitch is well inside for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Evan Zamilo with the start today at catcher, taking the place of Drew Hall today. Settles in on the pitch, and that is going to hit him right on the back of the knee. And that's going to put runners at first and second with no outs. There is going to be a designated runner. Number 15, I do not have his name, I apologize, but he will be running for Carter, who is the pitcher, and so that is allowed. His designated runner will be on second as Carter, after getting hit by the pitch, will take his seat and try to lick his wounds a little bit to get ready for when he is on the hill here in the bottom of the second. So that is going to be another hit by pitch in basically the same area of the back of the knee, and that is actually going to load the bases for Milford. Bases loaded, no outs. The right fielder, the 9th spot in the lineup, Longacre, is going to come up, and certainly this is an impact moment for him. Doesn't get much better than this. If you're Milford, you have no outs, you have bases loaded, and Longacre's looking, and he connects, and he hits it into the left field, and that's going to score at least one. Strong throw from Rogers keeps anyone else from scoring, and so that is going to be a single for Longacre, an RBI as well, and that's going to make the score Milford 1, Tigers nothing. And again, bases are still loaded, and there are still no outs. We're back to the top of the order, and Koch is going to be stepping in once again. Had a walk in the first inning. And that will be foul. And that was the sound that we were looking for. Well, I should say that's the sound we weren't looking for, because that sounds like a car was hit by a pitch. This portion of the broadcast brought to you by Liberty Mutual. And that's going to be a chopper that is going to go right past the extension of the second baseman. It's going to score at least one as the runner from third chugs home. That's going to be 2 across the dish. That is going to be 2 RBIs for Koch as he gets a single. Runners on the corners with no outs. And very quickly, we've seen this game go from 0-0 to 3-0 Milford with no outs. Consigli, the second baseman, is coming up to bat right now. If you're OA, you're certainly looking to turn 2 here. Whiteside gets that bottom corner there for strike number 1. Certainly watching the first baseman, a dangerous situation here. If he takes second base, as Whiteside recognizes, trying to take second base, maybe draw away the attention from home, allow that runner on third to come home. Certainly something to watch here as they're dancing around the base paths a little bit, and the throw back to first, and that is going to be safe once again. A lot of chatter coming from Milford's side today. Andrew with the pitch. That's going to be a swing right back. That's a comebacker. He decides not to throw to second, throws to first. It's high, but he makes the tag, and so that is going to be a out there through a tag at first. Perhaps wisely electing not to throw to second to get the more sure out there at first, but that also is going to score another run on a fielder's choice there. Like, that wouldn't be a fielder's choice necessarily, the more I think about it, but that would just be a force out, but an RBI. As Carter comes to a bat, the first baseman, he flied out in the first inning, scores 4-0, and he's going to get hit squarely on the back. And certainly, Andrew having hit his third pitcher this inning, that's some difficulty there for him. And that's a difficult thing to brush off for sure, and so certainly hope that that'll be the case here. So assessing here, looking at the bases again, we have runners on first and second now. There is 1 out. It is 4-0 Milford here in the top half of the second inning. And that's going to be a swing that's going to go directly to Fitzpatrick in center, who's going to cleanly make the catch, and the runner tags up and decides not to run to third base. Smartly so, I should say. And that'll be out number 2. The left fielder Butler flied out in the first inning, and he will be back. Trying to hang at least one more up against OA. Andrew looking to close out the top half of the inning. And the throw is inside and about chin high for a ball. Butler digs in. Andrew checks, and that's going to be a swing and a foul tip for strike number 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, 4-0 Hawks. Here in the top half of the second. And that's going to go right to the second baseman, where it's going to be a force out at second, and that is going to end the top half of the inning. 3 hit by pitches there in the top of the second certainly paid a price a little bit for Oliver Ames, and the score is Milford 4 and Oliver Ames nothing. On the community calendar, we have some events that we want to make you aware of coming up here in Easton. One of those is the MBTA Communities Multifamily Zoning District Open Houses. There have been 2 that have come and gone, but there is still one more coming up tomorrow from 4 to 7 o'clock in the Corona Room, the Colleen Corona Room on the first floor of Town Hall at 136 Elm Street. The Planning and Zoning Board and town staff are hosting drop-in informational open houses for community residents interested in learning more about the MBTA community zoning that will be considered at Easton's May 20th annual town meeting. For maps of the proposed zoning districts or for the proposed zoning language, go to easton.ma.us. And speaking of town meeting, and I know everyone at ECAT is excited about town meeting coming up on May 20th, but town meeting is going to be coming up on May 20th, and all town residents are encouraged to come, all registered voters. And so if you have not gotten information on the town warrant, if you've not got information on what you will be voting on, once again, go to easton.ma.us. And one of the most pure forms of democracy that you will ever find is the town meeting, the New England town meeting. There's nothing like it. And I say that without a hint of irony whatsoever, but certainly it's something that you should be a part of if you live here in Easton. There are times that reaching quorum is a difficulty, and there's times fitting everyone into the auditorium is a difficulty. And I'm no prognosticator, but I would say it would be the latter coming up on May 20th with the multifamily zoning districts coming up for a vote. So inform yourself, find out about what is on the warrant, and then come and exercise your right to vote at town meeting. Well, Oliver Ames is preparing to try to claw back some of those runs that they just gave up there in the top half of the second, and Lucas Riley, the first baseman cleanup, is going to be our first batter here in the bottom of the second. And a recurring theme that we have seen so far this year for Oliver Ames is just some of those preventable mistakes hit by pitches. There's been no fielding errors so far, which has been great, but some of those runners getting aboard or moving around that shouldn't be moving around the bases ends up coming to haunt OA once again. And certainly hoping Andrew takes some time there on the bench here in the bottom of second, that the batters give him some time. And speaking of that, that's going to be a chopper down the first base line, and it's going to be fielded, covered by the pitcher for out number 1. Lucas is down 1 away with the DH Tommy Whiteside coming in. Yeah, if you're OA right now, you really just want to get some walks. You want to get some men on board and not just give Andrew some time to maybe collect himself and prepare for the third inning, but also just to try to be able to get back some of those runs as that first pitch from Carter to Tommy comes in for a low strike. 0-1 is the count, 1 out. It's Scarlet Hawks 4, Tigers 0 here at Frothingham. And that's going to go right down the third base line, and the third baseman is going to make a throw that is going to make it just in time for out number 2 as Tommy is away. And Harrison Fitzpatrick, the center fielder, will be up to bat. We're hoping that just slipped right past the third baseman there. That was between the third baseman and the third base, but he fielded it cleanly, made an off-balance throw to first just in time for the out. Fitzpatrick batting left, waits for the pitch from Carter, and he throws. And he takes, good take there for ball number 1. So far, 5 up and 5 down for Oliver Ames, looking to get one on base here. And the pitch. Fouled off. On to Park Street. And the count is 1-1. Evan Zamilo on deck, the catcher for OA. And the throw. That's also going to be outside. Count is 2-1. We've got good news. The clouds are starting to part here a little bit. That might mean that the chance of rain is diminishing, but that sun feels a little fierce. You're not going to hear us complain about it, though. That's also going to be fouled away for strike number 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Fitzpatrick at the dish for Oliver Ames. Again, about 73 degrees today, and with that sun, it feels even hotter. Way outside. 3-2, full count. Carter showing decent control so far. The payoff pitch. Also outside, and just like that, Oliver Ames has a runner on board. Fitzpatrick with the walk. Good eye. Way to ensure he wasn't swinging at pitches he didn't need to swing at. And we've got a runner on base with Zamilo, the catcher, looking to move him around. Carter looks to first. The throw to Evan. That's going to be low for a ball. Just talked about Carter's control just a few moments ago, but he has been outside of the strike zone these last few at-bats, hoping OA can take advantage. Again, the look over the shoulder to first. And he deals. And that's going to be a big swing, but a miss for strike number 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Beautiful day at Frothingham Park. The throw. That's going to be high for a ball. Good take once again by Evan. That is going to touch just the end of the strike zone, framed by the catcher well enough for it to be called a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Fitzpatrick on first. Looking to move forward. Zamilo at the plate. Carter with the throw. And that's going to be a swinging strike, strike number 3, and that will end the inning. Well, after 2 here at Frothingham, the score is Milford 4, OA nothing. We'll be back in just a moment here on ECAT.
Oh, I didn't see you there.
Sick of all the new shows and movies dominating pop culture? Well, have no fear, because Old Time Movie and Old Time TV are here, where we like to add our own flair.
There's a truck out front, and if we could just get the keys.
Man, are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? Those are flesh-eating zombies. They upended our car, okay? We're lucky to be alive, especially Joe. I had to pull him out of the trunk, for crying out loud.
It's been a long day.
Also, make sure to check out the Radiocast, our accompanying podcast where we talk about what we've watched.
There was a lot of moments of just Mac on the raft going down the river, just internal monologuing over and over and over.
We show the classics and nothing but the classics. Well, except for the weird ones. Check us out on all our channels as well as our YouTube.
Want to get involved in an exciting race around historic Northeaston? Apply to be on Expedition Easton, a local version of the amazing race produced by ECAT. This summer, 6 pairs, 12 contestants, will get the chance to compete for the grand prize. All ages are welcome, but each pair must have one member over 18 years old. Think you got what it takes to complete the expedition? Email info@eastoncat.org or call us at 508-230-7200. Casting has begun. Dates are set for June 22nd, 23rd, 29th, and 30th.
We're back at Frothingham as the sun continues to peek out of the clouds, and it is 4-0 Milford as Oliver Ames looks to sweep the clouds away and have a little bit of sunshine here today, metaphorically speaking, that is. That first pitch from Whiteside's going to be in for a ball, and the count is 0-1 with McGee up to bat, the shortstop for Milford. Had a single in the second inning as the Hawks batted around in the second inning and hung up 4. And we're looking for a quick 3-up, 3-down this inning. And that's going to be a slow roller to the pitcher, Whiteside, who's going to throw it to Lucas for out number 1. Ian Carter, the pitcher, designated hitter, will be at bat next. You might remember he got hit by the pitch in the last inning. One of the players who was hit by a pitch in the last inning. Andrew with the throw, and that's going to go to the third baseman, who is going to take it. A tough hop there for Matt Lawson to field. Got in front of it, and it was one of those really difficult high school field plays where the field's not necessarily at the quality of the major leagues, where he was expecting to hop low, and it went right into his chest. So he stayed in front of it, kept it as a single, but yet that does put a runner on board with 1 out with McGee. Another McGee, the third baseman. Seems like there's brothers, Carter brothers and McGee brothers for Milford. And that's going to be in there for a strike right at the knees. 0-1. Yeah, that's a tough play there for Lawson to have to make, and a tough result there for him. And certainly I don't want to cast any aspersions, if you will, on the field quality here at Frothingham. It's excellent when you consider that this is a private park here in Easton. It's kept in immaculate care, and I mean that sincerely. But at the same time, you're just going to have in a public use park some of those issues with clods of clay and with the grass, where you're going to get some of those weird hops, and that's exactly what happened as the runner goes to second, but with the foul on the first base side, he will make the slow trot back to first. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here for the Hawks. Andrew throws back to first, keeping the runner honest. At Frothingham Park, for those of you that aren't familiar, a almost 100-year-old park here in Easton. A park that includes, as you can see, depending on the camera angle you're looking at, as the pitch, or rather the pickoff to first, the runner's back in safe. You see that there's a gravel track that goes around the baseball field. There's, as the runner goes to second, throw from Zamilo, and he is going to get him out there at second. Excellent throw and excellent tag. And that's what you're looking for if you're Oliver Ames, and that is going to clear the bases with 2 outs, and now 0-2. And you're looking at a completely different trajectory here at the top of the second, or at the top of the third. Great throw by Zamilo. Not a great jump on the steal by Carter, and he is thrown out with a great tag by Baroncelli. That pitch is going to be low, trying to get him to chase there. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And that is a momentum shifter right there for sure, at the very least giving Oliver Ames a little bit of encouragement. The pitch, and that is going to go into the gap for a base hit. Fielded by Rogers, and that is going to be a single for McGee, with the right fielder Longacre at the bottom of the order coming up, trying to move McGee around. But again, just going back to that attempted steal by Carter, not a great jump off of the pitch, but excellent recognition by Evan of the runner breaking, a dart of a throw to second, and the great catch and tag for the out at second. That pitch from Whiteside is going to be in there for a strike. No balls and 1 strike, 2 outs, a runner on first. The score is 4-0 Medford, or Milford rather. I'm surprised I've only done that once today. Maybe I've done that more and I haven't caught it. But the difference between Medford and Milford is slight, even though the difference in distance is not slight. But Milford is up 4-0, and the runner breaks to second. They're going to try it again, and a throw by Evan, and he's going to get him. It's hard for me to tell what the call is there because of the umpire, home plate umpire standing in the way, which I understand why. But it looks like although that throw was on the money, it was just a second late, so that will be a stolen base for McGee. 1 ball, 1 strike, and a high outside pitch by Andrew makes the count 2-1. Again, Evan, another great throw, maybe just a little bit to the third base side, which caused Anthony to have to go back to make the tag, but still, great reaction there. There's not much you could have done there. You got a much better jump than the previous runner had gotten. Well, the count's now 3-1 to Longacre. 2 outs. Owe looking to end the top half of the third inning right here. Longacre did get a single in the second inning, but looking to retire him now. And the pitch. And that's going to be strike number 3. That's going to be strike number 2. That'll be strike number 2. So full count here. 3 balls, 2 strikes. I was pretty excited about that. That will be strike number 3. How about that? Strike number 3. It's like we got to watch it twice. How about that? I realized that I was excited about strike number 3, but no one else was, which was a good hint that it wasn't strike number 3. But he swung through the third pitch, chased after that pitch, and that was strike number 3, and that will end the top half of the third inning for Milford. And the score here at Frothingham is 4-0 Milford. But we do have more community events to make you aware of here in Easton. Did you know there's an artist on display at Town Hall? There's a new program with different artists who are able to put their works throughout the halls of Town Hall, and veteran and Easton native Rose McPherson is the next artist on display at Town Hall. Rose is an emerging artist who recently left the corporate world behind and launched her new business, Rosie Rose Rising Art. Say that 3 times fast. She graduated from Oliver Ames High School in 2006 and served with the Massachusetts Army National Guard in Iraq in 2009. Rose's artwork reflects her sunny personality, but also offers insight into her experience serving in Iraq in Operation Iraqi Freedom. By showcasing Rose's artwork, strengths, and talents, we hope the town of Easton hopes to bring awareness and understanding of her unique experiences, emphasize the vital healing nature of creative expression, and express our gratitude to Rose for her service to our country. And we tip our hats to you, Rose, for your service in the armed forces. And certainly, if you have the opportunity to go down to Town Hall and just go through and see some of Rose's works, I think that would be a wonderful thing to do. It's a great program that just started a couple months ago with artists in residence there at Town Hall. And, you know, it's a great thing. You go to Town Hall typically to pay a bill, you know, to pay the excise tax, to pay the water bill, to see somebody about something that's probably not too pleasant typically. And so it's great to be able to go down there and just walk the halls for no other reason than to take in some beautiful artwork. So we tip our hats to you, Rose. Also going on in Easton right now at the Ames Free Library, they have an event called 1-2-3 Go, how to declutter and organize any room of your home, which is coming up on Tuesday, May 7th at 6:30 p.m. Have a messy space that you just can't seem to get under control? Learn the basics of organizing and what's holding you back from living in an uncluttered space with Julie Brooks, certified professional organizer. And the session includes a Q&A and handouts. It's free and open to all, and that's tomorrow at 6:30. Decluttering, learning how to straighten up and unclutter your space. I have a feeling I know where I will be at 6:30 tomorrow night. That will be at the Ames Free Library. Well, we're at the bottom of the third inning as Carter. First pitch to Colin LeMay is outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. And the throw, again, low, 2-0. Definitely saw a little bit of a control issue for Carter in the last inning, where he was really locked in the first inning. On the whole, still a good outing for him so far. You can't say otherwise, but at the same time, if you're Oliver Ames, just maybe being patient and waiting for the pitches to come to you could provide more walks. For instance, right there, that'll be ball number 3. 3-1, good stop by Lee, the catcher, to keep that from going to the backstop. Mentioning again Frothingham and some of its intricacies and some of the unusual peculiarities of how it's laid out. And that's going to be contact down the first base line, but it is going to be foul. I was out here just a few days ago. I actually brought a rangefinder with me that you use for golfing, and I wanted to see the distance from home plate to the backstop, and it's over 60 feet. That is a huge, huge distance. And when there's a runner on base, that can just cause tremendous problems when the ball goes through. And that wasn't a wild pitch, but it was ball 4, and that means that the batter, Colin LeMay, is going to take his base. And Matthew Lawson, the 9-hitter, is going to step up to the plate. Righty. Looking to move LeMay around. Again, it's 4-0. No outs. Oliver Ames in the bottom half of the third inning. Swing and a pop-up, which will be foul behind the Oliver Ames dugout. And again, just going back to what I was mentioning a few moments ago, the distance from home plate to the backstop, I know we've mentioned it before, but it bears repeating, as there is a runner on first, a passed ball, a wild pitch here, not only will move a runner forward 1 base, 60 feet back high, 2-1, but when you consider it's 90 feet between bases, 60 feet back, it just, if any runner is watching that ball go past, by its very nature, they're going to take a base, and they very likely could take 2. 1 ball, 1 strike, as that's going to be tipped off the umpire, who's going to take it off his face mask and is going to take his mask off and gather himself. That's the second time in as many days we've seen that here at Frothingham. We had our umpire last Wednesday against Foxborough take 1, not just 1, but 2, I believe, to the chest. 1 that actually caused a delay of the game for several minutes as he collected himself. Coach Abar is going to come out and check on the umpire as he is going to gather himself here. You can have a face mask on, you can have protective gear on, but if you take a foul to the face, you take a foul to the chest, you're going to feel it. There's no way around that. And so Lawson's going to step out, allow the umpire to gather himself, which it appears that he has. Glad that he's okay. And Colin is going to still be on first. Matt looking to advance him. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that curve, he swings through it. That was actually strike number 3. So that is a strikeout for Lawson. Again, I apologize. Sometimes don't always get those balls and strikes the way that I should. But you'll know it's a strikeout if someone who's at bat walks back to the dugout. That's a pretty good sign. Typically, it's a good sign for me. And so that will be 1 out. With the top of the order, Jake Willard back up. Colin LeMay still on first. And that is going to be a swinging strike, but Milford trying to catch LeMay sleeping there away from first, which he was not, dove back in safely. 0-1 is the count. 1 out. It is 4-0 Milford Hawks here at Frothingham. The pitch is going to be fouled off to the basketball courts. The count's 0-2. That sun really is not sure what it wants to do out here today. It's back behind the clouds. It seems the rain clouds are not going to be an issue, if nothing else, but a little bit of reprieve from that sun. 0-2, 1 out, runner on first for Oliver Ames. Rings him up for strike number 3. That is low, but just inside the strike zone. Right at the knees. Right at the knees for strike 3, and that will be 2 outs. The second K of the inning for Carter. Dave Rogers is going to come to bat. He struck out in the first inning. Carter, the pitch. Swings through for strike 1. A little bit of movement there on some of these pitches, causing some confusion for the OA batters as they come around the second time of the order. LeMay still on first, still looking to advance. And that's going to be a ground ball. Third baseman picks it up and throws to first for out number 3. One runner is stranded on base, and the score is Milford 4, Oliver Ames 0. We'll be back in just a moment here on ECAT.
Want to get involved in an exciting race around historic Northeaston? Apply to be on Expedition Easton, a local version of the amazing race produced by ECAT. This summer, 6 pairs, 12 contestants, will get the chance to compete for the grand prize. All ages are welcome, but each pair must have one member over 18 years old. Think you got what it takes to complete the expedition? Email info@eastoncat.org or call us at 508-230-7200. Casting has begun. Dates are set for June 22nd, 23rd, 29th, and 30th.
But you caught it. Yeah, see, so.
Oh, I didn't see you there.
Sick of all the new shows and movies dominating pop culture? Well, have no fear, because Old Time Movie and Old Time TV are here, where we like to add our own flair.
There's a truck out front, and if we could just get the keys.
Man, are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? Those are flesh-eating zombies. They upended our car, okay? We're lucky to be alive, especially Joe. I had to pull him out of the trunk, for crying out loud.
It's been a long day.
Also, make sure to check out the Radiocast, our accompanying podcast where we talk about what we've watched.
There was a lot of moments of just Mac on the raft going down the river, just internal monologuing over.
We're back in Northeastern. It's Scarlet Hawks 4, Tigers 0. Here, again, the top of the 4th. At bat, the leadoff hitter, Koch, the center fielder, 3rd time at bat. Been on base twice with a walk and a single. Strike at the knees for the count to 1-1. So as I mentioned before, and I know you are probably painfully aware of at this point, I do not have a color commentator today, whether it was Tommy the first game that I was here on the OA team or Joe Taft, producer, engineer, filmmaker. Neither of them are with me, as that is going to go into right field for a base hit for Milford. Koch is on base for the 3rd time today. Consigli, the second baseman, is at bat next. 0 for 2 on the day. And I know I mentioned this a few times before, but that sun coming in and out really should not be an issue for the fielders. It's behind them, but it could very well be an issue for those who are batting. And that's going to be a day for Andrew Whiteside, as he is going to be replaced And we'll be having a new pitcher here for Oliver Ames in just a moment. Tough day for Whiteside with 3 hit by pitches and several men on board. Gave up 4 earned runs today in 3 innings. We'll have a new pitcher in here in just a moment, and as I can get his number in just a moment, I will be glad to give you our pitcher. And that will be Tommy Whiteside, who is coming in for relief today. And so he's going to get some of his warm-up pitches here. We'll take time to pause and just go back to what I was saying a few moments ago. You are painfully aware that I do not have a color commentator today. It's certainly a difficult thing. It's a lot easier to watch this on television. It's a lot easier, when I was growing up, to try to emulate Harry Carey when I was watching him and Steve Stone and Tom Brenneman on WGN back in the late 80s and early 90s, and thinking that, oh, this is easy. I could do this and just say holy cow like Harry Carey did, and that's it. I've come to find out it is not that easy at all. It's rewarding. It's a lot of fun, and being able to see these young men out here playing for the love of the game. But at the same time, having a color commentator to bounce things off of is a great thing. I don't know how Vin Scully did it all those years so well, telling stories, doing it by himself. I don't have the ability to do that, but I do have a color commentator today in a way. And I know I had made reference to him in our last broadcast, and that's my father, Victor Rivero, who is watching from Virginia. And he is texting me here and there with his insights of the game. And so because of the beauty of the internet, Dad, thanks for watching, and thanks for being my wingman today. Well, Tommy Whiteside gets his warm-up pitches, and Consigli is at the bat. Squares up for the bunt, and that is going to be foul. Again, Consigli 0 for 2 for the day. So, Dad, if you have any more insights, I'd just be glad to tell you. Just keep them coming. Keep them coming. I like to talk. It's part of what I do for a living. But at the same time, talking 2 hours straight about the game without someone to talk to, that's going to be a strike, and the throw to first to keep the runner honest. He's safe. 0-2, no outs. But again, what I do for a living, I talk a lot, but to talk for 2 hours about a game, and there are things that I might miss, insights that I might miss, names that I might miss, strikeouts that I might miss, as we found out. It's good to have someone else to be able to help you, but I'm glad for our team at ECAT, and that's going to go into the left field for another base hit. Consigli gets his first hit of the day, 1-3, and Carter, the first baseman, is going to be up at bat. Carter hit by a pitch in the second inning, flew out in the first, and that's going to be out of the park, foul. Almost hit someone playing basketball. He did not see it coming. I'm glad that it fell about 6 feet to his left. He saw it when it bounced past him, though. 0-1 is the count. And that's going to be a slow roller. That's going to be to the second baseman, out, first base, safe. Looking to turn the 6-4-3 double play there, but just missed at first base. So that's going to put runners on the corners with 1 out. Carter hustled up the line just enough to beat the throw. Oliver Ames fielded cleanly, threw it cleanly, did everything that you have to do, but it was just so slow rolling through the grass to get to Jake Willard that there was not much that they could do there. That's going to be foul to the backstop. 0-1. That's about as classic of a 6-4-3 double play as you'd get right there from shortstop to second to first, but just missed converting. 0-1, 1 out here in the top of the fourth at Frothingham. The pitch is going to be outside, and it's going to be a passed ball. It's going to go to the backstop, and that's going to score at least one. That will score one. That would not have scored two because that would have meant that the runner from first would have gone all the way home. That was not going to happen, but it will score one. And the runner from first will advance to second, giving up the opportunity for the double play. That was about 4 or 5 feet outside of the strike zone, and Zamilo tried to stop it, but there wasn't much that he was able to do, but did hustle back to keep it from going all the way to the fence and perhaps stopping the runner on first from taking second and third. One and two is the count, 1 out. With Lee, the catcher at bat. He'll take 2-2. And again, that 60-foot distance from home plate to the backstop comes into play there in the previous at bat. And the throw, and that's going to be hit solidly to right field where Colin LeMay tries to make the over-shoulder catch, and it just goes over his head, and that is going to have the runner on second is going to come all the way home for the score. That's going to be a standing double for Lee, and the score right now is 6-0 Milford. That was hit absolutely solidly by Lee, and there wasn't much Colin could do as he tried to range back to grab it. Attempted to make the over-the-shoulder catch, but it was just far too deep for him to be able to do so. And we're looking at 1 out for Milford. Runner on second. The score 6-0 Scarlet Hawks. And that's going to be a grounder to second, thrown to first for out number 2 as the runner from second advances to third. A dangerous throw from first to third with the possibility of that going into the stands and scoring another run, which it does not. Matthew Lawson with the stop. But that is 2 outs. So the score is 6-0. That was Butler's third out of the game, who was just at bat with McGee. The shortstop back in the box. Runner on third, 2 outs, 6-0 Milford. Strike one for Whiteside. Going back to that hit by Lee just a few moments ago, it was absolutely crushed. Talking about going through and checking the dimensions, I went through last Thursday or Friday, I don't remember exactly, but with that rangefinder and tried to look at the dimensions of this field because of the layout of the field, because it's a park. It doesn't have walls like a typical baseball field would. And that's going to be fielded by Lawson, who's going to throw to first for out number 3. And that will end the damage for Oliver Ames as Milford puts up another, and the score is 6-0 here in the middle of the 4th inning. Getting back to what I was saying just a few moments ago, I came out here and looked at some of the dimensions of the field because, just out of curiosity on my end, the dimensions are such that it makes the Polo Grounds back in the day look like a bandbox. It's pretty small because the park just goes for acres and acres, it feels like. And so I'm pulling up some of the dimensions that I got here just a few days ago. I know this is probably riveting television for those of you who are watching, but I was interested in this. The left field berm, if you look out way in left field, the berm that rises up about 15 feet or so out to Sheridan Street, it's about 400 feet from home plate. If you look at left of the scoreboard, that center field scoreboard, you're looking at about 450 feet. The scoreboard itself is about 350 feet. the tree, the famous tree that is in play, that is starting to bloom right now. The leaves are starting to come in, and that tree is 330 feet in just outside of straightaway center to the right. Right center is a very deep. Right center is a very deep 480 feet. If you were to hit it to the back fence, you are looking at almost 500 feet. And then the right field line is about 360 feet. So you are looking at a ballpark by any measure much larger than any high school ballpark, much larger than any minor league ballpark, much larger than any major league ballpark. And then you include not only the tree that is in play in right center field and the hill that accompanies it. That reminds me of Towles Hill, that if you were a Major League Baseball fan, you will recognize that hill that they placed in the Houston Astros new facility after they moved out of the Astrodome. I believe it was called Minute Maid Park. It's probably called something else now. But for years they had a hill out in center field, and it was well known for center fielders tripping on it, trying to make a play, not being able to pay attention to where the hill is. And so all of these things are potential disruptions for Oliver Ames or for their opponents as well. And they're just peculiarities that you have to learn. And they can play into Oliver Ames' advantage just because they are more familiar with the friendly confines of Worcester Field here at Frothingham Park. But at the same time, they can cause some great difficulty no matter who you are. Well, we are at the bottom half of the fourth inning, and Baroncelli is up for Oliver Ames as Carter continues to pitch. And he is going to hit that cleanly. That's going to go beyond the right fielder. As he loses track of it, it's going to bounce down. He's going for two. He's hustling and is going to stop at second base. That was hit very strongly into right field, talking about that great big space out there in right field. And he hit it well over the right fielder, Longacre, who could not find it, could not get it. And that's going to be a standing double for Baroncelli. And Lucas Riley, the cleanup hitter, first baseman, is at bat. Grounded out his first time at bat. Pitcher calls time, and the catcher and the pitcher are going to talk about it a little bit. First double that Carter has given up today so far. So 1 on, no outs. 6-0 Milford, but the Tigers have a runner in scoring position. Lucas Riley, the lefty. First baseman, the pitch, and that is going to be fouled down the first base side. Count is 0-1. Had quite a few more fans come into the stands that are here on the third base line, rooting and watching, hoping OA makes a comeback here. That's going to be that's going to be ball one. That's going to be in the dirt, certainly not a strike, but the catcher keeps it in front of him to keep Baroncelli from advancing. 1-1 here in the bottom of the fourth. 6-0 Scarlet Hawks. The throw. And that's going to be hit out into the gap, and that is going to be not just a base hit, and the left fielder has trouble fielding it, and that is going to score one. Baroncelli comes across, and that's going to be an RBI for Lucas Riley, and the score now is 6-1 with no outs. Once again, another really strong hit out into the gap. And then when Butler, the left fielder, tried to field it and to bring it back in, had some trouble being able to take it from his glove to his throwing hand to be able to bring it back into the infield. And it's good to say that Oliver Ames is on the board. The score is 6-1 with Riley on first base and no outs. Tommy Whiteside, designated hitter, now our pitcher, is at bat. The pickoff attempt fails. Carter looking over his shoulder. He throws, and that's going to be hit into shallow right field. And it falls between the second baseman and the right fielder. Neither make the call. And look at that. We have runners on first and second with no outs. Harrison Fitzpatrick is coming up to bat, the center fielder. Walked his first time at bat. Some poor communication there for Milford between the second baseman and the right fielder. That's unfortunate, as both were trying to track the ball, but neither making the call, and it just fell harmlessly between the two of them. Strike one is the call. Fitzpatrick looking to continue this good stretch here for Oliver Ames. Strike two. Both well-placed pitches, both right there on the edge of the strike zone. Harrison took them both, and it's 0-2. Again, runners on second and first, one in scoring position. And that's going to be a hard foul down the third base side. And the count is still 0-2. But the good news is right now, the score is 6-1. The 0 removed from the home team side on the scoreboard, which is always good, and Owe continues to look to chip away. Bottom of the fourth, 0-2, and the pitch is going to be in there for strike number 3 as he watches strike number 3 go past him, and Fitzpatrick strikes out looking, and Evan Zamilo is going to come to the plate. Evan struck out in the second inning. One out. Runners on second and first, and Evan takes time. Carter has pretty much sailed through this game so far, and so these last couple innings with men on base having to work with checking behind him, checking to the side of him, certainly has made a little bit of a difference here, but that's going to be strike number 2 as the catcher is going to throw back to first base where the runner's safe. Oh and 1, one out. Zamilo at the dish. Carter deals, and that's going to be a line out to second with the runner diving back into second to ensure that there was no force out there. Heads up play from the runner, and that is going to be 2 outs for Oliver Ames. Hit strongly, but hit right to the second baseman, where he literally just had to stand there, receive the catch, and then quickly throw to second, where the shortstop was covering. But again, the runner was safe. So we have runners on first and second, 2 outs, 6-1 Milford, and that is high for ball 1. Colin LeMay walked his first time at bat. One and 0. And he's going to hit it right down the middle for a base hit. And that's going to load the bases. Great contact there by Colin. Bases loaded, 2 outs, an opportunity for Matthew Lawson to try to bring some, well, more runners home. Lawson having a good game so far there in the hot corner on third base. Certainly wants to use the bat to get some RBIs and bring the Tigers that much closer to the Hawks. 6-1, but you can definitely tell that Oliver Ames' bench is feeling a little bit of a swing in momentum as there seems to be some life. The boys standing on the rail, encouraging Matthew Lawson as bases are loaded, 2 outs, 6-1. Carter with the pitch. And he's going to make contact, and that's going to go to center field, and it's going to be caught for out number 3. A great hit. He jumped all over that pitch, and it was just caught, and I mean just caught by the center fielder for out number 3. Well, all three runners are left on base. The score is 6-1 Milford. But we've got an exciting one here at Frothingham. Stay tuned. We'll be back here on ECAT in just a moment.
Want to get involved in an exciting race around historic Northeaston? Apply to be on Expedition Easton, a local version of the amazing race produced by ECAT. This summer, 6 pairs, 12 contestants, will get the chance to compete for the grand prize. All ages are welcome, but each pair must have one member over 18 years old. Think you got what it takes to complete the expedition? Email info@eastoncat.org or call us at 508-230-7200. Casting has begun. Dates are set for June 22nd, 23rd, 29th, and 30th.
Oh, I didn't see you there.
Sick of all the new shows and movies dominating pop culture? Well, have no fear, because Old Time Movie and Old Time TV are here, where we like to add our own flair.
There's a truck out front, and if we could just get the keys.
Man, are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? Those are flesh-eating zombies. They upended our car, okay? We're lucky to be alive, especially Joe. I had to...
And we're back at Frothingham. It's the top of the 5th with Milford 6 and Oliver Ames 1. Tommy Whiteside still pitching. That first pitch is outside and low for ball 1. A tough end of the 4th inning for Oliver Ames. Bases loaded. A real smash there by Lawson, but just not enough distance to clear the bases. That's high and inside for a ball. 2-0 is the count. The pitch. And that's going to be hit to center, where it is going to be caught by Harrison Fitzpatrick for out number 1. McGee, the third baseman, been on base twice today, hit by pitch and a single. The throw. Fouled away. 0-1 is the count, 1 out. Again, Milford 6, Oliver Ames 1. You know, grand slam here is technically not in play in the sense of the classic sense of hitting it over the wall, but you think that goes about 10 or 15 more feet. That scores 3. It may score every one and be an inside the park home run, which is technically the only type of home run you can have here. But I'll tell you, I would have loved to have called an inside the park grand slam, but it just wasn't to be for Matt that time around. And that is going to go into center field for a base hit. And McGee on board for the 3rd time today with the right fielder Longacre, the bottom of the order at bat. 1 for 2 with a strikeout and a single. Oliver Ames at double play depth. Milford's bench clapping in sync to encourage Longacre. And the throw is going to be outside for ball 1. The sun is starting to set. We had a little bit of a later start time today, 4:30. Normal game time is 3:45, and so the sun is starting to set here. The shadows are growing a little bit longer here at Frothingham. Again, almost no wind, about 70 degrees. It's a great day for baseball. And the runner's going to run to second, and the throw is going to be high. No play possible. And that's going to be a stolen base for McGee. Double play possibility is removed now. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out with the runner on second. And Longacre still at bat. And he deals, and that's going to be bunted foul for strike 2. It was a late decision on the bunt there. Really didn't get a good look at it and just harmlessly went foul behind the catcher. 1-2, 1 out for the Hawks. Wind picking up just a little bit out here, but still not really anything to be concerned about unless you're a broadcaster whose pages are fluttering in the wind. But if you're a ball player, no big deal. That's going to be a curve for a punch out, strike number 3. Great movement on that pitch. Great job by Tommy for strike number 3. It's 2 outs. Longacre with his second strikeout of the day. We're back to the top of the order with the center field Koch coming up. Been on base 3 times, 2 singles, and a walk. And the runner goes, and that's going to be picked up by Zamilo, and the throw is going to be just a little bit late. And that's a classic case of small ball right there when you consider a single, a steal of second, a steal of third, and now you've got a runner just knocking at the door from a single. And that's going to go right to shortstop. It's going to be fielded cleanly and thrown to first. In time for the out. Boy, he was burning rubber going up the first baseline, but it did not matter. The throw was in time, and that is going to end the danger, and that's going to end the half inning for Milford with the score 6-1. Great time to remind you that tomorrow can be Taco Tuesday at your house with an 80-20 ground beef value pack for only $2.77 a pound at Shaw's Star Market when you use the digital coupon. Limit 2. Shaw's Star Market, perfecting the art of fresh. I should say that they are not official sponsors here at ECAT. But I've heard Joe Castiglione do that for years, and I've always wanted to say it. So I feel better about myself. For those of you watching, you may not feel better about it, but I will say this. It is Taco Tuesday tomorrow, and you can use the digital coupon. That is real. I looked it up today. So get over there, and Taco Tuesday is a delight. Well, in other news, all right, folks, here in Easton, we do have a community panel discussion from Wings of Hope and Easton Public Schools coming up on Wednesday, May 8th, between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. at Oliver Ames High School. Understanding youth substance abuse and mental health in today's society. It's for parents, educators, and community members who are looking to learn more about youth substance use and mental health in today's society. You can RSVP through Facebook or email info@eastonwingsofhope.org. So go on to Facebook and look up Easton Wings of Hope for more information. Then also, the Easton Garden Club will hold its annual spring plant sale on Saturday, May 11th, this Saturday, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Yardley Wood Rink on Depot Street. There will be a selection of annual and perennial plants, shrubs, wreaths, and other items suitable for Mother's Day gifting, a white elephant table, and at 10 a.m., a club member will demonstrate how to plant and how to maintain an outdoor planter. So go to the Yardley Wood Rink, if you remember where the old center school is, right across from the statue in the middle of town. Head there this Saturday and get Mom a plant for Mother's Day. Well, we're now at the bottom of the 5th as the sun continues to set. The score is 6-1. And we're at the top of the order with Jake Willard at bat. Remember, Lawson had that long fly out at the end of the 4th. And the pitch. And that's going to go into right field. Longacre is looking to grab it and does make the catch for out number 1. Dave Rogers is coming to bat. 0 for 2 for the day. Longacre looked like he was struggling to track that ball down in right field, but in the end did make the grab in deep right field. 1 out, 6-1 Milford. Swung through it for a strike, and strike one. The pitch. That's going to be popped foul right in front of the catcher for out number 2. Difficult go with the plate for Rogers. Popped up almost off the knuckles near the handle of the bat. Just went about 4 or 5 feet and caught easily by the catcher, Lee. Baroncelli at the plate next for Oliver Ames. Last time he was at bat, he had that double that really kind of got things moving in the 4th. Baroncelli looking to be the spark plug here again, here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. Strike one. The count is 1-1. It's a good time to mention that Carter still on the hill for Milford. No action in the Milford bullpen right now. So conceivably he will be in for at least the 6th inning, and that is a curve in for a strike. Strike 2. Good movement. 1-2, 2 outs. Baroncelli, that's in the dirt for a ball. 2-2. There have been a couple pitches that Carter has had in the last couple innings that had some really good movement on them that would go inside to outside. Very tricky to track, very tricky to hit. And that's going to be strike number 3, rings him up. And that will end the inning. Well, at the end of 5, the score is Milford 6 and Oliver Ames 1. We'll be back with you in just a moment here on ECAT.
Want to get involved in an exciting race around historic Northeaston? Apply to be on Expedition Easton, a local version of the amazing race produced by ECAT. This summer, 6 pairs, 12 contestants, will get the chance to compete for the grand prize. All ages are welcome, but each pair must have one member over 18 years old. Think you got what it takes to complete the expedition? Email info@eastoncat.org or call us at 508-230-7200. Casting has begun. Dates are set for June 22nd, 23rd, 29th, and 30th.
Good. Well, it's fun. The more you're out here, the more you get to know the guys. So. And we're back at Frothingham, and it's the top of the 6th. And again, at 6-1 Milford, OA has been knocking at the door several times. It just can't string enough hits together. They've left a number of men on base. The good news for OA is there's not been a lot of mental mistakes today. I know there were 3 hit by pitches, 3 hit batters for Andrew Whiteside, but on the whole, fielding, throwing, catching, not many fielding errors today. It's just been a matter of not being able to get enough guys across the dish. And that's going to go right down the third base line. Lawson is going to stab it, but not able to field it cleanly and not able to make the throw to first. And so that is going to be a 1-pitch single for Koch, the center fielder, who leads off at the top of the 6th and leads off the order. And he's 3 for 3 today with a walk and 3 singles. Consigli, the second baseman, the second man in the order, is up to bat now with Koch on first base. Looking to run. He's run before. The pitch. Be fouled back for strike 1. Looking over OA's way right now. Don't see anyone warming up at the moment. And again, nor do I see anyone for Milford warming up either. Conceivably, Carter will be starting, continue to pitch in the 6th inning. And Koch is kept honest there on first base as he dives back. But it is strike 2 to Consigli. He's 1 for 3 on the day, a single. Oh, and 2 is the count. And the pitch. And almost hit him, just almost grazed the back of his jersey. Outside and kept in front of Zamilo to ensure that it did not go bouncing away and allowing the runner to advance. So 1-2 is the count. Runner on first. The throw. And he's going to swing, and that's going to be popped way up, but in the infield. Jake Willard makes the catch as he calls off the other infielders as it falls harmlessly for out number 1. Carter at the plate next. A single on the day. Actually, I'm sorry, this is the catcher Lee that is at bat now. My apologies. Lee's had a single, a double, and has flown out so far today. Get man on first, 1 out. 6-1 Milford. Whiteside number 2 pitching, Tommy Whiteside, and that is going to be foul. And it's amazing to me that that can be about 70 feet into foul territory behind the Oliver Ames dugout and yet still be playable and catchable. And it is, again, because of the interesting dimensions that we have here, but it was just a little bit too far for Lucas Riley to range over and grab it. So the count is 0-1, 1 out. Squaring up for the bunt. Let's see if he does. He pulls back and then takes a full swing and pops it up to left field where Rogers will make the catch. He may have wished he made the bunt after that swing. Got a decent cut at it, but got under it just a bit too much as it flew into shallow left field for out number 2. The left fielder, Butler, is now up. Again, runner on first. Butler is 0 for 3 for the day, looking for his first hit. Tommy Whiteside looks over at first. The runner goes back. Whiteside with the pitch, and that's going to be a foul tip for strike 1. Again, looking for that first hit of the day. Butler is. Run on first, moving back and forth, and he's going to get caught in the rundown, and the throw is going to go to the second base. He's actually tagged out at second base. It looked like that he was going to be able to slide in safely as Lucas was hesitating and throwing it to Anthony Baroncelli to get the out, but it ended up that he tagged him out at second base and played a little bit with fire, too much over there. Koch did on first base and got caught, and that will end the half inning for Milford. Some of those plays are definitely hard to see from the vantage point that we are at right behind home plate, because if you're looking towards second base, you have the umpire, you have the catcher, you have the pitcher, and trying to kind of make your way through all of that. And in some of these cases, you're getting a better look at it at home than we are right away here at Frothingham. But the end result is that the runner was called out. Great heads-up play by the infield there of Oliver Ames, and the score is 6-1. And as I often remind you, and must remind you again, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Oliver Ames High School, Easton Public Schools, and Easton Community Access Television. It may not be reproduced, retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. If you have a problem with that, call Adam Carrero at Easton Community Access Television. He'll be glad to take your call. This is a good time to remind you of all of the great programming that we have on Easton Community Access Television. We've got 2 new programs coming up this summer. Well, 1 new program, which is Expedition Easton, which is headed up by Joe Taft, and there'll be different teams of Easton residents who will be going around following clues all over Easton in an amazing race-style reality show. So you'll want to tune in to that show coming up this summer. But also, if you're interested in being a part of that, go on to eastoncat.org, click the Contact Us button, and let the program staff know that you would be interested in being part of Expedition Easton. And also, this will be the 2nd year in a row for Easton's Got Talent, with an expansion of Easton's Got Talent to other towns as well. So if you are listening to my voice right now, if you're watching on your television, on Facebook, on YouTube, on eastoncat.org, you are eligible to show your skills, whether it's singing, whether it's comedy, whether it's, well, anything else. You can register for that by going on to eastoncat.org and getting more information. And there are prizes, folks. You want to be a part of that. But lots of other great programming on Easton Community Access Television, whether it's Community Forum with Priscilla Almquist Olson, whether it's Topic Time with Harrison Young, For the Love of Words, snippets from Sweden, Drew's Adventure History. We've got it all on ECAT, and you can watch online or on YouTube. Well, YouTube would be online, but you can watch online at eastoncat.org or YouTube or Facebook to find your favorite shows, or maybe find a new show that will be your new favorite. Well, we're now in the bottom of the 6th, and Carter continues to pitch. Lucas Riley at bat, the cleanup. That's going to be fouled off. 1-1. Oliver Ames just looking for an opportunity right now. You need to get men on base. It's a 6th inning. 2 innings to go, 6 outs to go. Time to make something happen. And that's going to be a swing. That's going to be a slow chopper to the shortstop, who's going to field it and throw to first for out number 1. Tommy Whiteside started as the designated hitter today, but then moved into relief for his brother Andrew. He is now at bat, trying to help himself a little bit here by getting on base. Has a single so far today. And he's going to take a cut at the first pitch, and that will be foul for strike 1. Again, Tommy Whiteside has done admirably so far in relief today. And looks to get something here. He's going to take a swing, and that's also going to be fouled for strike number 2. And just like that, the count is 0-2. Getting back to some of the programming that we have on Easton Community Access Television. I was mentioning YouTube. If you don't already, you want to go onto YouTube, go onto ECAT. You want to subscribe. You want to ring that notification bell. You can keep up with all of the latest activities here in Easton by doing so. As he fouls off again, stays alive. The count is 0-2. You have town board meetings. You have town meetings like our May meeting and our special meeting in November. All those different activities, you'll find them all on our YouTube channel. And some of you might be watching on YouTube right now as that foul ball is going to be dropped by the catcher. He may have been watching the bench there at OA as he was running very quickly toward it, and I think he may have been looking more at the guys that he was rapidly going to come in contact with than the ball. Had it off the heel of his glove and dropped it. And fortunate for Tommy, he stays alive with the 4th foul. 0-2 is the count, 1 out. The umpire has a word there with the bench, maybe warning the bench of some possible interference on that foul pitch, or on that foul hit, rather. Looks like there may have been a warning, but nothing more given. No harm, no foul. No pun intended. And again, the count is 0-2 with 1 out. No one on. 6-1 Milford. OA trying to get something going. The pitch. Strike number 3. He rung him up. That seemed to be a bit outside. But called strike for out number 2 nonetheless, no matter what my thoughts on the pitch might be. I do know this, if I was standing there, I would have taken that pitch for sure as a ball. Harrison Fitzpatrick, the lefty, steps in. 1 walk, 1 strikeout on the day. And he's going to immediately hit it to the second baseman. Slow roller, but a quick throw. And that is going to be out number 3 for OA. Well, 6 innings are over. There's 1 more inning to go. The score is Milford, Scarlet Hawks 6, Oliver Ames 1. We'll be back with you in just a moment here on ECAT.
Want to get involved in an exciting race around historic Northeaston? Apply to be on Expedition Easton, a local version of the amazing race produced by ECAT. This summer, 6 pairs, 12 contestants, will get the chance to compete for the grand prize. All ages are welcome, but each pair must have 1 member over 18 years old. Think you got what it takes to complete the expedition? Email info@eastoncat.org or call us at 508-230-7200. Casting has begun. Dates are set for June 22nd, 23rd, 29th, and 30th.
New pitcher. And we're back for the 7th inning, and we have a new pitcher on the hill for Oliver Ames. You're looking at Colin Costello, who is coming in relief of the Whiteside brothers, both who have pitched today. Andrew starting for 4 innings, and then Tommy for 2. Colin coming in now in relief of those 2 young men as we start the top of the 7th. The shortstop, McGee, is stepping in. He's had a single on the day, 1 for 3. Score is 6-1, Milford. There's a question there from Coach Abar to the umpire. It seems like that it's settled, and we're back to the action. Again, McGee, Jay McGee at bat. And he's going to take that first cut, and that's going to be in the outfield for out number 1 as Dave Rogers roves over and makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 hit, 1 out for Milford. Carter at bat. I'm actually sorry, that was McGee that's at bat now. Butler was the one who just flew out, and that is going to be fouled out of play. Just getting back to my scorecard here and realize that, yeah, we have McGee up to plate now, the shortstop. Butler was the one who flew out. The left fielder flew out to left field. And that's going to be hit over the head of Anthony Barancelli into the outfield for a single. So Carter, the pitcher, again, who's also the designated hitter, is back to the plate. He is 1 for 2. Was also hit by a pitch in the 2nd inning. 1 out, 1 on. Strike 1 for Costello. We'll say the umpire's strike zone does seem to be stretching, expanding a little bit for those right-handers. So it does seem like he's calling it both sides. Although it has not expanded that much, unfortunately. That is a ball, no matter where you're from. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, runner on first. Here in the top of the 7th, again, Milford 6. As the runner goes, and that's going to be hit directly to the second baseman. If he had made the catch, it would have been an easy double play, but because he dropped it, that will end up being a base hit. Difficult play for Jake Willard. just off the tip of his glove, tried to squeeze it and was unable to make the play. But that runner had gotten such a jump that if he had made the catch, it would have been easy to tag him up on first. It was unfortunate that he wasn't able to do that. Well, Carter once again gets his designated runner in as he comes and takes his seat and prepares to pitch the bottom of the 7th, looking for the complete game today. The other McGee, S. McGee, the third baseman, is up, and he's going to take the first pitch, and it's going to go to center field, where Harrison Fitzpatrick is going to make the catch in front of the scoreboard. The runners will hold. And that's 2 outs. Batting number 9, Longacre. 1 for 3 on the day, 2 strikeouts, 1 single, and certainly Collins looking to punch him out here to end the inning. First pitch is in, outside for a ball. 1-0, 2 outs. Men on first and second. Could be a little bit low. 2 balls and no strikes. Again, Milford feeling the end of the game is near and certainly getting active over there on their bench. Collin goes off the rubber, takes a look, gets back on, and throws just a little bit high for ball 3. Collin looking to finish this inning off here. Outside for a ball, a 4-pitch walk, and that's going to load the bases for Milford with the top of the inning, or rather the top of the order. Koch is back up, 3 for 3, and also a walk on the day. Been on base 4 times today. Definitely been an impact player for them so far. That's going to be a low strike to make the count 0-1. That was right there at the bottom of the knee. Koch prepares, and he's going to hit a foul ball down the first base side for strike 2. Collin looking for the punch out. Again, bases loaded, 2 outs, 6-1 Milford. Looking to finish this off here. And the pitch. Fouled off once again towards Park Street. Brace yourself. I think we're good. That one hits the trees, and someone in the stands makes the catch there. Our count is still 0-2, 2 outs, bases loaded. Colin Costello looking to put them away here. The pitch. A little bit high. Ball 1. Again, Milford definitely feeling that the end of the game is close, and the dugout has gotten quite chatty over there, and that's going to be another foul as he fights it off. The count remains 1-2. Koch just really had a really good game today. You got to tip your hat to him, even if you're an OA fan. That 3 for 3, including the walk. I believe some RBIs mixed in there as well, and some good base running. Got to really give it to him today as one of the stars of the game for Milford. And that's going to be low for a ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the deals, and that's going to bounce to the second baseman, who's going to throw to first, and that is going to end the inning. Well, Oliver Ames has 3 more chances to try to bring it back, as the score is 6-1 Milford, and we'll see what happens there in just a moment. This is a good time to remind you that our next Oliver Ames broadcast will be on Wednesday, as Oliver Ames will be at home against Stoughton. That's going to be a 3:45 start here at Frothingham. The last time these two teams played together, it was a 3-1 win by Stoughton, a close game, and Stoughton is 5-8 on the year, and Oliver Ames looking to get some revenge against them on Wednesday. So I hope that you'll join us on ECAT at 3:45 on Wednesday as we broadcast live on ECAT, Verizon, Comcast, Facebook Live, and then you can get the replay on YouTube as well, or you can always find us on eastoncat.org. As we kind of take a little bit of a survey of today's game as well as the games that have taken place for OA over the last few days and weeks, you really have to be thankful for OA's side that there's just not been a lot of mistakes in the field. There's not been a lot of difficulties as far as wild pitches or passed balls or anything like that. This all came down, for the most part, I know there's 6 runs on the board. 3 hit by pitches did make a difference there in getting some runners on early in the game, but OA seemed to settle down after that. Really, a lot of this issue was just the offense not being able to convert today. Several times, multiple men left on base, and that's just going to add up after a while. Oliver Ames has had some difficulty so far, and just what I have observed, and again, this is not a critique in any sense of the word, as these guys are out here giving their hearts out and they're playing their guts out. But, for instance, on Friday, playing against Mansfield, we're able to score 8 runs, but not able to have the pitching hold. A day like today, 8 runs would have been great, but then playing New Bedford on Saturday, losing 5-0, and the bats were silent. And so trying to get those bats and the pitching in sync together, they can do that. They can play against just about anybody. But now as we start the bottom of the 7th, OA is going to try to extend this game here a little bit. Evan Zamilo is at bat. Had a good game catching today. I think he's done really well. Has had a good eye on the base paths on runners who are trying to advance. A good put out. He's 0 for 2, but has had some really good defensive plays today. The count's 1-1 to Zamilo. Again, playing catcher today, in for Hall. The pitch. Again, a little bit of movement right there, enough to have him swing through for a count that is now 1-2. It's also a good time to tip your hat to Carter, who has pitched just very, very well today. And that's going to be strike number 3 for out number 1. And Colin LeMay will be at bat, 1 for 1 on the day with a walk. But yeah, trying to get the pitching and the hitting together on the same page in the same game is going to make a big deal for Oliver Ames. And there's still time to be able to get that done with a little bit of the season left to go, several weeks with the first pitch in for a strike. There's still some time to be able to get that done, and you'd love to see that against Stoughton on Wednesday, a team that has had their struggles this year and that OA played tough against a few weeks ago. Strike number 2 as LeMay takes. The windup. The pitch. He's going to hit it to the shortstop, who is going to field it and throw it to first. A little bit high, but collected for out number 2. Oliver Ames down to its final out here today with Matthew Lawson at the bottom of the order. Here at the plate, you'll remember the last time Lawson was up was with bases loaded and an absolute smash that was just a few feet away from scoring at least 2. But instead was a very long out, but certainly has to be happy with the contact that he made. Let's see if he can do it again here. Get something going. There with 2 outs. Love to see it. Outside, very much outside for ball number 1. Strike 1 as he takes. I believe, because again, I'm in a position where it's hard to see. I believe number 6 is still pitching. Can anyone? I don't know if you can see that from your angle on the as we have strike 2. We have a different pitcher that's in there. The number 6. Hard to tell from the stretch. He has his back towards first base. It's hard to tell. But whether Carter's still pitching or not, excellent game all the way around. And he is going to have a check swing. The umpire says that's going to be strike number 3, and that is going to end the ball game. Well, a tough one here for your Oliver Ames Tigers as they fall to the Milford Scarlet Hawks 6-1. But I want to thank you for joining us on today's broadcast from Worcester Field at Frothingham Park. Thank you to Tyler on the camera, and also for our producer, engineer, Adam, for making us look good today. Well, again, we hope you'll join us on Wednesday at 3:45 as OA takes on Stoughton. Hope to see you then. But in the meantime, thanks for joining us today on Easton Community Access Television. My name is Adam Rivera. We'll see you next time on ECAT.
Oliver Ames Sports are sponsored by Bank of Easton, Easton Lions Club, Law Firm of Sutton & Sutton. ECAT would like to thank all sponsors for their support in producing this sports season.